guys, it's Christy here from the Stamp Cycle, and today I have a watercolor card using this new stamp set called Feather Together. This is from the 2016-2017 Stampin' Up! New annual catalog, and we're going to be using one of the feathers here. This is a two-step stamp set, but we are just using one of the feathers. I'm going to get my stamp pad there because this is a photopolymer stamp set, and you want to have some cushion behind those photopolymer stamps, so I'm going to use my stamp pad. I'm going to be stamping this feather all over a piece of watercolor paper using Versamark ink, and then I'm going to heat set that Versamark ink using some Stampin' Up! White embossing powder. I did first treat this entire piece of watercolor paper with my anti-static tool so that I could prevent any stray embossing powder from being in places that I do not want it, because we are going to be watercoloring this. I am working on the smooth side of this watercolor paper. So once I get all my feathers stamped and all the embossing powder applied, I'm going to heat set that with my heat tool to get it ready to watercolor. So I've set my piece of watercolor paper onto just a palette here, and then to the side I have a piece of cardstock that I've laminated, and that's what I use to apply my color and kind of create a water palette. So I'm first going to take a flat brush and wet down the entire piece of watercolor paper, because we're going to just drop in color and let it mix and let the water do the work. I'm using two distress inks here. This is Peacock Feathers and, oh gosh, what's that other color? Something lilac. I'll have it in my blog post. But what I'm doing is I'm just dropping the color and creating a background, and I'm applying the first layer of color very lightly, and then what I'll do is I will heat set this, apply some more color, heat set it, and keep doing that process over and over until I have the look that I'm going for. I did want the colors to be a little softer, so that's why I'm starting very soft at first, and then I will build on the color till I get the depth and the intensity of the color that I'm looking for this project. What's fun about doing this technique is all those feathers that I stamped and heat embossed resist the coloring, so they really pop out from this watercolor background that we created here. It gives a really, really nice look. So next I'm going to just flick some clean, clear water onto the background. The great thing about distress inks is they do react to water. So all of these little water flicks, I can just pick them up with my paper towel here, and it leaves watermarks. It gives a really, really cool look. And then next I'm just going to add some ink splatters using the same technique and those same two colors that I painted the background. And then I'm going to add some gold flecks as well using my, this is the Microtech metallic colors. That's a really beautiful set of watercolors. All of the golds and the champagne colors just give the most beautiful shimmery effect on your project. I love using these, and I use them a lot to just do what I'm doing here, adding some little ink splatters to the background. And then I'm also taking that paintbrush and adding some bigger dots of color so that you can really see that beautiful gold paint. And then I wanted to have a matching gold die cut. So I'm just going to kind of create my own gold paper here by, this is a scrap piece of watercolor paper that I've just wet down with some clean clear water. And now I'm just going to paint that same watercolor gold color that I have there on this piece of watercolor paper. And I'm going to paint it, heat set it, paint it again, and continue to do that until I get the look that I want. And so there's the finished product. I'm going to use this Hello painted Hello die from Simon Says Stamp. I love all of those dies. It gives you the best sentiment cut out. I feel like it's a really pretty look. And so I've also cut out two additional Hellos in Whisper White, and I'm just going to use some of my Ranger my Ranger Multi-Matte Medium to glue all of those together to give that Hello die cut almost like a chipboard effect. It makes it thick and really makes that pop off the front of the card. So I've glued all of those pieces together, and I'm just going to set this block on there to make sure the glue gets dried and they adhere really well. So now I'm making my card base. That is a piece of thick Whisper White cardstock from Stampin' Up that I have made into a top folding A2 card. And now I'm just going to take that watercolor piece and I'm going to trim off about 1/4 of an inch from each side because I'm going to offset this card, as you see here, to give a peek of that white on the left side because we're going to add a piece of really cool gold striped washi tape here. This washi tape was from the holiday catalog last year. It came in a 3-pack. This is the first time I've used this washi tape. Pretty sad, but since I made this project, I'm really loving this washi tape. So I'm probably going to be using it more in my projects. But this striped gold washi tape here is really beautiful, and it looked really well. It looked really nice with all the gold flecks that we added to the project, and I just like that that extra pop of design and color there that it's going to give us when we adhere that watercolor piece to the card front. So I've just cut it down and folded over the ends at the top and the bottom, and now I'm going to take a piece of fun foam. This is like craft foam that you used when you were a kid. I like to use that for giving watercolor pieces dimension, because a lot of times when you use like foam adhesive or dimensionals, it kind of crushes the cardstock in the mail or crushes your watercolor piece. But by backing the entire piece with a bit of fun foam, that gives you even dimension and you don't get any of that crushing. So now I have a piece of vellum, and I'm going to stamp that same feather that we used on the watercolor piece. I'm going to stamp that onto that piece of vellum using Versamark ink, and then I'm going to heat set those feathers in the same white embossing powder, and then I will fussy cut both of those feathers out to use on the front of my project. I love the look of white embossed images on vellum. It's just really beautiful and gives a very nice, elegant look to your card. So once I've finished cutting out both of those feathers, I'm going to take some gold thread. Oh, no, first what I'm going to do is apply another piece of washi tape. It's like, I can't really see it well on the film, but it's like a cracked, kind of like a paint cracked look, but it's also gold, so it goes really well with all the gold elements. I use my ruler to get that piece of washi straight across there, so it gives a very subtle background to the feathers, and there's the gold thread that I was just talking about that we were going to use. I really thought it gave this project a nice little additional kick there. So I've just looped around some gold thread, and I'm going to wrangle all those crazy wild pieces with a glue dot to keep the circular shape in the thread, and then I just use that glue dot to adhere that thread circle to the front of my card. And now I've just got some foam adhesive that I'm going to cut down and put on the back of those heat embossed feathers that I cut out. Since those are heat embossed in white, you can hide this foam tape behind those embossed areas. So when you do apply it to the card, you can't see the adhesive through the vellum, which is nice because a lot of times vellum is tricky when you adhere it to cards. It's hard to not show the adhesive that you use on the back. So I'll just take off the backing to the adhesive, and then I'm going to apply the feathers on either side of that gold thread circle. And then I'm going to just use some of that Ranger Multimedia Matte Glue. I'm going to put that on the H and the O, and then I will glue that hello sentiment across that front focal piece. I'll put the H on one of the feathers and the O on the other, so that the sentiment's just right there in the middle of that gold thread and the feathers, and then that finishes our card. Thanks for stopping by today, and if you would like more information on the supplies used, you can go to my blog at www.thestampcycle.com, and I will see you guys on the next video.